Alrighty, guys. Welcome again to another recorded Zoom class for your Friday Pilates practice. We'll go ahead and slowly get started. Yeah, so we'll begin lying on our back. We, of course, start with our knees bent and feet grounded to the floor. Take this time here, line it up nice. Knees and feet are hip width distance apart, a nice narrow stance. Make sure your feet are also running parallel, that there's no internal or external rotation. The arms are going to stretch along the side, slightly angled out 45 degrees. Palms facing up, feeling your shoulders rolling open. And then with just slight effort, lightly pressing backs of shoulders to ground, which will help to open you more across your chest. Reach the crown of your head to the back of your workspace to find length into the neck. Chin is going to land fist distance from your chest. Take just a brief inhale here to tilt your pelvis back as if you're trying to pour water onto your belly button. Let the tailbone curl up. Of course, the cat's in the way. And then on your exhale, I want you to tip your pelvis forward as if you're trying to spill water down onto your heels. Do that one more time. Tip back on a breath in. And then on a breath out, let's go ahead and tilt forward with the pelvis, spill water to your heels, arching the back, and then finding neutral pelvis, which is just a nice sweet spot between those two positions. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and close the eyes. Bring the focus more inward. We'll continue with our breath, but build in depth and quality to better connect mind and body. We'll start by taking a deep inhale through your nose, pursing the lips. Slow and steady exhale through your mouth. Again, big inhale, filling all the way up. Steady exhale, make sure you empty completely. Breathing in, you'll feel your ribs expand outward as your lungs fill with air. Now squeeze the breath out from start to finish, feeling the ribs, knitting back to midline, pushing every last drop out of the body. Squeeze down to the bottom. A nice easy inhale through your nose, but a bit more powerful with the exhale. Now nice and audible as if you're forcing air out through a straw. With an easy inhale, the belly will rise and your core muscles are relaxed. Disengage, then engaging the core when you exhale. Firming of the belly. Strong powerhouse. Let's continue to stay with this breath, as this is not a daily day-to-day breath, right? We don't normally breathe like this, so we have to practice it. We have to build up pattern, engagement, and sensation. So this can become almost second nature, particularly when we're in practice. Let's go ahead and take 3 more rounds of breath. Pull your core in even deeper each time that you exhale. Good, one last round here, breath in. Then as the belly is firming, exhale, lift your feet off the ground. Use your core strength to slowly draw the knees towards your chest. Place then your hands on your knees and begin to gently rock side to side. Keep with tempo of breath. We don't want that quality to get lost. And we're also just kind of pairing the two together, right? Breath and movement, syncing up for a better flow. From side to side, you'll now create a circular motion with the legs. Let your hands help guide this movement through. You feel this massage more now to your lower back, the sacral region of your spine, just above the tailbone. And let's go ahead and pause, reverse direction here. Find nice range of motion within the body. And take the legs into still, nicely centered. Now breathing in, let's separate the legs, open them up as wide as we can. Then as you exhale, sweep them around and back in together. So they're moving in opposite ways, opening on an inhale, circling around and back in, exhale. Let's do 4 more. Remember, speed here isn't really a factor. It's how much movement you can get within the body. This is hip flexor massaging. This is also hip mobility work. So finding the openness within your hips. Let's do one more here. Take it out as wide as you can. Keep it wide, sweep down, become narrow, draw in, knees to chest. Let's keep that there. Both hands now to the right knee as your left leg extends to the ground. Flexed foot to anchor the leg to the floor. Hugging gently the right leg closer to body as you stretch into your backside, glute, lower back, and then make sure the shoulders are actively dropping to the floor. While you hug the leg in, big circles with the foot. Warm into your ankle. And you might feel a little stretch into the top of foot and sole of foot. The bigger circle you can create, the more stretch you can achieve. And let's pause, reverse direction. Deep breaths in. Big, strong exhales back out. Good. Let's bring the foot into still and extend the right arm out to its side. Anchor the shoulder to ground. As many breaths as you're needing, gently guide your leg across to the left while looking over your right shoulder for spinal twist. Allow the body to ease, to settle, to land, and feel that happening more deeply with every exhale you're taking. Good. Let's keep the leg crossed over. Let's just look up at the ceiling and also take the left arm out to a T. Not really quite able to see my leg, but you'll be able to see it when we switch sides. So what I'd like you to do with that right leg that is crossed over, I just want you to straighten the leg out. Now, being closer to the floor, if you're finding the leg isn't quite straightening, lift the leg up a bit higher and then really get it long. The reason being we want to stretch that IT band, which runs down along the side of the leg. It's not super comfortable, but it's something that will be good for the body. So if the knee is bent, you're actually not getting much of a stretch. So leg long, and then I want you to push firmly out through the heel of foot. I do want backs of both shoulders to stay anchored, and I want you to actively externally rotate the thigh open towards the sky. Breathe into the side of your leg. Inhaling. Exhaling. Also think of that thigh trying to actively pull in closer to your chest. Yeah, feel it? Good. Take one more breath in. Firm up the belly, exhale, bend the right knee and unwind yourself, come through center. Once you have centered, take the right leg straight up to sky. Pointed toes. You can keep the arms, come here, bud, out to a T, or who wants to see that? Come on, scooch out of here. Or you can take your arms in closer to your sides. Make sure the left leg is still strong. Also, you can have a little bend in your right knee if you're feeling any pressure in the hip flexor. Pointed toes for length and strength. Breathing in, taking that right leg slowly downward towards the floor. Find a level of lowering that you can maintain and protect your lower back with. Exhale, firm up belly, lift leg back up, stack knee above hip. Again, lowering down with resistance on a breath in. Lifting with core power on the exhale. Let's just take two more of these. Reach out through those toes. Find as much length as you can forward in front of you. Firm up that belly, navel to spine, leg drawing up. One more time, guys. Coming down, breathing in. Lift. Good. Draw the right knee in from there. Give it a little squeeze to the body. Good. And then release that foot to the ground. Stretch the leg out, meeting up with your left. Then kind of feel the difference between both legs. It may feel like your right leg is a little bit longer than your left. Let's switch sides now. Draw the left knee into chest, hands holding on. Gently hug the leg in and drop your shoulders from your ears. Good. Holding the leg in close, circles with the foot, take your time. Range of motion is really important here. We want to maintain mobility within our body through all stages of life. And let's pause, reverse direction. Good, foot comes into still. Left arm comes out to its side. Now press that shoulder down, keep it grounded as you cross the leg over gently with as many breaths as needed while looking over your left shoulder, spinal twist. If the left shoulder had come off the ground, which is common, I just want you to press it back in. Pressing it down will offer your thoracic spine, your upper back, more rotational movement, which is what we're trying to look for here. Big inhales, long exhales. Again. Good, beautiful. Now start to look up at the ceiling. Right arm also comes out to T. That left leg slowly straighten out. Again, we don't want to rush because this is a very sensitive stretch. Again, if your leg can't quite straighten with it low to the floor, lift it a bit higher so it can lengthen out. Drive firmly out through heel of foot. Use the energy of the leg to externally rotate and then also pull the thigh closer to chest. Breathe into that side of leg there, IT band. Really press those arms to the floor to keep the majority of your body anchored and centered. Good, one more inhale here, guys. Firm up belly, bend the knee, exhale, unwind to center. Once you have unwound, lift your left leg to sky and point toes now. Again, arms can stay opened out to the sides or beside you close. External rotation of left thigh. You can have a little bend in the knee if you're needing. Yeah. On an inhale, that left leg comes downward towards the floor. Feel the core firming here. Exhale, pull the leg up slower than you'd like. Again, lowering on the breath in. Feel the right leg also working here. That is an anchor. Feel it rooting down. Let's do two more. Lengthen forward through the toes. Feel your lower belly pull down deep as the leg lifts back up. One last time, coming down with resistance, like your leg were moving against current. Exhale, pulling leg up, then drawing the knee in, give it a little squeeze close to body. Good, and then release that foot to the ground. Then let your right leg meet your left leg. Both knees bent, both feet to the floor. Arms still close beside you. Let's take an inhale, lift the arms straight up to sky next. Reach your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, plug the backs of shoulders into the floor. Again, inhale, I want you to shrug your shoulders up towards the sky. And then exhale, I want you to anchor them energetically into the earth. Let's do that once more. Inhale, shrugging up. Notice the chest kind of closing in, and then when you plug down, the chest really starts to open back up again. Keep the backs of shoulders anchored. Inhale now, reach arms overhead behind you. Keep the belly firm and the ribs sealed and the spine imprinted. Exhale, circle the arms back beside you. A little bit of shoulder mobility here. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, sweep back down beside you. Let's pause here. Take your legs to tabletop. Keep them at 90. Don't let them shift. Inhale, arms reach up and over. Exhale, circle back down. Shoulder mobility, core strengthening. Inhale, arms up, over, belly tight. Exhale, circle back down beside. Let's do two more here. Once more, breath in, reach up high, reach far back, open wide, sweep down, and then draw the knees to chest. Place your hands on your knees. Give yourself a gentle rocking side to side. Good. And then come back into stillness. Keep the knees to chest. Take the arms back beside and breathe in. On your exhale, extend both legs slowly away from your body. Point those toes again. Remember, always length. Draw the knees back in again on an inhale. The arms and your spine should be firmly anchored to floor. Again, exhale. What that will do is will help prevent you from sliding around on your workspace as the legs move out and in. Two more, just like this. Reaching out all the way to the bottom of your breath. Inhale deeply. Once more. Good. Draw the knees into chest. Pause here. Interlace fingers. Take hands behind head. Lift up to tips of shoulder blades. Elbows wide. Eyes to navel. And then again, extend legs away. Draw knees to forehead now on your inhale. Again, extending away. And then draw knees towards forehead. Let's do two more. Higher to sky, more modified if you need. One last. Good, knees into chest. Release head down, turn head from side to side. Good. All right, let's go ahead and bring the head back to center. Let's return the feet back to the floor, arms beside. Let's take now the right ankle, cross it over the left knee. I want you to flex your foot and physically take your right hand to inside of leg to push it out. It gives a little bit more opening and space to that hip. From here, you can choose to keep your left foot on the floor, or you may decide to lift up and hold that leg from behind. Drop shoulders down. Keep the chin fist distance from your chest. Take a big breath in into your right hip. When you exhale, I want you to slowly lean over to your left side. Just a little weight shift here. And then come back through center on and inhale. We'll do that a few more times, yeah? So take your time leaning to your left, but notice what's happening here on your right side. That stretch kind of travels and wraps around to your glutes. Sometimes it really intensifies it too. Let's come back through center, and we'll do 2 more of these. Hips are a common area of tension. So we really want to help stretch these out. Let's do 1 more here. Exhale, leaning over to the left. Good. Come back through center. And then let's release the foot to the floor again if it were lifted. Arms beside, and let's take that right foot back to the ground. Switching left ankle over right knee, flexing foot. That's going to liven up the leg. And then you use your left hand inside of thigh, push out, and feel that hip open up. Once it's opened up, choosing to keep the right foot grounded or lifting the leg, holding from behind. Shoulders down, back of neck long, and make sure you have shifted your attention, right? Your focus, your mindfulness to your left side. Take a breath into that space. Now lean slowly to your right on the exhale. Come back through center. Boy, for me, my left hip is really tight today. Exhale. So if you are tight like me, you may find that you don't have to lean that far over to get a really deep stretch. So be mindful of that as well. Kind of listen to your own body. Don't force it to go over too far. Yeah. Come back through center. Breathe in. Let's do that 1 more time. Leaning over to the right. Come back through center on an inhale. Release the stretch, feet to floor, arms beside you, exhale. Wonderful. Let's get to the backs of the legs next. The hamstrings, right leg extending up, holding the leg with both hands. Anchor your tailbone to the floor. That's really important. The more you can firmly anchor, you'll already start to feel a stretch because pressing down is going to give more pull to the back of your leg. And get a little bit more length. Push the leg away from you. Feel the energy of it doing so. Maintaining that energy, meeting it by bending the elbows and letting the leg pull in a bit closer. Now, if you are super tight here, which I also am today, I'm going to go ahead and choose to pulsate my leg in. Just some gentle drawing in and releasing of the leg. Make sure it's super slow. We don't want to rush into this. This is a nice way to warm up the backside so that you might be able to get a little bit more depth into your stretch. Good. If you have been pulsating in, the next time the leg pulls in a bit closer, you're going to keep it there. You're going to feel that tailbone and keep pressing it firm to ground. While holding your stretch, I want you to flex your foot. Wow. Yeah. Calf stretch. And then point your toes, shin and top of foot. Make sure your knee isn't bending. Yeah. Keep it long. Flex your foot, heel to sky. And then point your toes. Activate. Once more. Heel to sky. Point the toes. And let's go ahead and keep the toes pointed. Release your hands. Take the arms back beside you. Now, the leg, because it was pulled in a bit close for the stretch, I want you to push it away again so the knee is back above the hip. I want you to externally rotate the thigh, and then I want you to also straighten the left leg to the floor again. Again, a bit bend in the knee if you're needing for this. Single leg circles. This is all in your core. Inhale, you're going to cross that right leg slightly over body. It's not a huge movement. Neither is this. Exhale, small circles, sweep down. Slightly open out to the side, and then restack the leg above the hip. Now, the purpose here is your SI joints beneath you, you do not want them to rock or seesaw. Crossover, inhale. So in order to stabilize our hips, we are relying on our powerhouse, yeah? Let's do 2 more in this direction. Crossover, breathe in. You can certainly increase the size of that circular movement as long as you can maintain control. Let's do that once more, yeah? Cross, breathing in. Maintain external rotation throughout that movement. Pause at the top. Now we're going to take it in the opposite way. We'll start opening the leg to begin on an inhale, which is actually slightly more challenging. Sweep down, slightly across, and lift and stack. Pause. So making sure, inhale, begin the opening, exhale for follow through, that you always pause at the top because we want a very definitive beginning and ending point. Let's do 2 more. So this is not a constant movement. This is mindful and controlled. Good, this is our last one here. Let's circle it through nice and slow. And then once you've lifted the leg, stacked it, knee to chest, hand on knee, just the right hand, and circle the leg around. That massages out back into the hip flexor. So we're kind of just mixing in between stretching and strengthening now. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So let's start with both knees bent, both feet grounded. Then the left leg extends up, holding from behind. First your anchor, and then as you're anchoring, feel a bit more pull to the back side of leg. Press the leg then into hands firm. Notice my leg becoming a little bit longer, a little bit straighter. Never lose your push energy. You're always in resistance with this. You're then going to use those hands to pull back gently on the leg. Now again, if you are super tight in the backside, pulsating is a nice way to ease into the stretch, to perhaps increase the depth of it because you're warming into it. You're not fighting it. You're not forcing it. Good, but make sure the length is still there and the anchor is still there for you. If you are pulsating in, the next time the leg comes in closer, hold it, breathe into the backside, and then you're going to also now flex the foot. Good, and then point your toes. Again, heel to sky, and then point. We'll do that one last time. Stretching into the calf as you flex, shin and top of foot as you point. Now we'll stay pointed with the toes. Hands release, arms back beside. The leg again has to push forward just a bit, so knee stacks above. Once there, the right leg extends down, the foot flexes, and the leg anchors firm. Remember, backs of hips, stabilization, powerhouse. Inhale, the left leg crosses over. Circle it around slow on the exhale. Take your time. You can have better control that way. Crossing on an inhale. And sometimes the slower we move, our muscles then are working that entire time. So essentially, they're working just a little bit harder. Let's do 2 more. Externally rotate that leg throughout. It's super tempting. That leg starts rolling in. So making sure that our hip muscle also has to do a fair amount of work to keep that thigh opened. Now let's stop at the top and reverse it, opening the leg out to the side, breathe in. If you want to test her, you can take 2 fingertips to your hip pads in the front. If they are wobbling, that's an indication that the back end is also. So we want to control every single bit of this. So it's actually more important what's not moving here than what is moving. Let's go ahead and take 2 more. Beautiful, last one here. Open out, circle it around, stack it up, knee to chest, just the left hand on the knee, just so you can draw some circles here. Massage out, and release. Wonderful. Okay, let's go ahead and take feet to the ground with knees bent once again. Let's go ahead and reach the arms up to sky, stacked above the shoulders. Palms are going to face forward. Hands are shoulder width apart. Fingertips reach up. Backs of shoulders plug down. Take a breath in. On your exhale, belly firm, lift up head, neck, and shoulders. Arms smoothly come down to hover beside. Stretch fingertips to heels. Draw shoulders to floor, eyes to navel. Return down, breathe in, restack the arms. Make sure they don't pull too far behind, right above shoulders. And then again, a firm belly to help pull you up. Slow head, neck, and shoulders. Eyes to navel, but make sure the chin doesn't press to chest. Keep it neutral like you're holding a tennis ball here. Return down, breathe in. Let's do 2 more here. Simple ab curls. Come down on your breath in. One more time. Find the lift. This time we're going to stay lifted. Interlace fingers, hands behind the head. Take a breath in. Twist the lifted part to the right. Just a rotation here, a small one. Keep arms wide. Center on the inhale. Rotate over to the left and engage your waistline, the obliques. Come back through center. We'll do 2 more to each. Over to the right. Nothing else shifts. Don't let those legs follow. Inhale to center. Trying to keep the head level throughout this movement here, but if needing, you can certainly take your head back down when you come through your centered position. 1 more to each. Over to the right. Inhale, center. Over to the left. Come back through center, and then release the head down. Lift your elbows to sky. I want you to slide your hands up probably just a little bit so that your hands are not on your neck at all. Take a breath in. Use your hand strength and arm strength to lift the head and neck off ground, chin to chest, just stretching it out. Release back down, breathe in. We'll do a couple more. Exhale, head is heavy. You're using your arms and your hands to lift it up. Chin presses all the way to chest now, stretching the neck. Return down, breathe in. Let's do that 1 more time. Exhale, slow pull up. And then go ahead and release back down. Once the head has made it to the floor, remove your hands and take your arms close back beside you. Before we continue on, we are going to move next into some bridge work. So I want us to first find a nice position with our feet. So if your feet are too far forward, it's going to be really hard to lift the hips. Your feet tend to continue to slide forward. If your feet are in too close to your heels, when you lift into bridge, it really juts the knees forward, and over time, that won't be really good on the knees. So I want you to find, again, another sweet spot. I want like the arch of your foot to be directly underneath your knee. So your heels are slightly behind, the toes are slightly forward, a nice middle spot. Again, it's going to give you a nice ability to lift up, and the knees aren't really going to push that much forward. Especially, we never want the knees rather pushed in front of toes. All right, so once we found our sweet spot, the feet, the small of your back, and the arms press in, inhaling. Then on the exhale, start to peel up and lift your hips into a bridge position. Keep your shoulder blades anchored to the floor and your ribs sealed down towards your spine. Inhale, roll back down to the floor again, 1 vertebra at a time, spinal articulation. Again, exhale, peel up. Make sure the shoulder blades stay grounded. Hug a small imaginary beach ball between your knees to keep them tracked over your ankles. Roll back down on an inhale. Let's do a couple more of these, yeah? Exhale, arms press down, feet dig in, glute squeeze, hips come up, belly firms. Roll back down on your inhale. 1 more time here. Press your hips to sky. Now pause here. Turn your palms to face each other and use the sides of your arms to press in. It gives you a little bit more power that can also help keep the hips lifted. Breath in, right foot off ground, march knee towards chest, and then slow return to the floor. Exhale. This is going to strengthen your hamstrings and glutes. Breath in, left foot comes up, knee draws in, and exhale, return down. Never let those hips sink. 2 more to each. Right foot comes up, knee pulls in, return down, use those arms. Left side. Good, 1 more each. Right side, drawing in, returning down, really dig that grounded foot into the earth. Once more, left foot comes up, the knee pulls in, feel the right heel dig down, the right glute squeeze, return the foot to the floor. And then soften the ribs and round and roll back down. Beautiful. Stretch the legs long from here. We're going to stretch our whole back body next. Push through your heels, lift your toes high to the sky, and squeeze your legs tight together. Arms overhead behind you. Palms face in, shoulder blades down your back, and ribs sealed towards spine. Breathing in, start lifting up your arms, your head, your shoulders. Press the legs down firmly. Exhale, pull your body up to seated. Stack tall first. Slow hinge forward from your hips. Fold over legs. Keep pushing through your heels. Let the head be heavy. Drop your shoulders from the ears. Stack tall on your inhale. Fingertips lift to the sky. Exhale, you're tucking under, you're scooping out, you're rounding spine. You're keeping the heels active when you roll to the floor, nice and controlled. Do not let your legs soften. We begin again. Start your lift on an inhale. Power of exhale and core working together to lift you upright. Then a slow hinge forward. Take your time. This is a deep, 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 juicy, and also can be sensitive of a stretch. So we ease into it. Stack tall, breathe in. Look straight ahead when you're coming down. Exhaling. Round it, round it, round it. Don't let the chin press to your chest. Return down. Now let's take both hands on top of the forehead, palms to sky, elbows wide. Inhaling, let's start the lift again. Don't let the hands pull away. Don't let the elbows pull forward. Come all the way up. All right, so we're going to keep a flat back this time. We're not going to round our spine. We're going to hinge forward. Feel your heart stretch up to your toes. Look past your feet. Stack tall on the inhale. This time we're going to lean back, exhale until you no longer can. Find your edge and then start rounding and rolling back down. One more of these. Inhale, start your lift. Exhale, stack tall. Do not round your spine. Hinge with a flat back this time. Sit tall. Lean with a flat back until you no longer can. Round and roll down nice and slow. Beautiful. Now, once you've come all the way down, I want you to take your hands behind your head. Start with the arms framing your ears. So this is called neck pull. This is kind of a combination of the roll up and the neck stretch that we do often in the beginning of our class. So same principles with arms staying close, hands cupping base of skull. Breath in, chin to chest, start to lift. You're going to feel the pull in the back of your neck. Then exhale as you start stacking up, pull the chin away from your chest and open your arms. Hinge with flat back again. Sitting tall, leaning back until you no longer can lean back with support. You'll round your back, you'll roll down to the floor, and then once you reconnect, lift your elbows to the sky. We're going to do that one more time. Breathing in, chin to chest, neck pull. Exhale. Chin pulls away, elbows widen out. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, stack tall, lean back. Roll back to the earth. And then release the hands. Take the arms close beside you. Wonderful. So those are just kind of different variations of the roll up. Some can be more intense and more challenging. So any point in time, I cue to roll up, so you can go to any one of those variations that suits you best. All right, let's bend the knees and ground the feet again. We're gonna come back to bridge work, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently this time. So feet, the small of your back, and the arms press down. Breathe in. Exhale, lift the hips up to bridge, stay there. This time, take your right leg, lift it straight to the side, point the toes, dig in that left heel, squeeze that left glute, inhale. Take the right leg downward. Exhale, pull back up. Again, lowering, slow. Take your time, reach forward with those toes. Pull back up on the exhale. Keep those hips pressing the sky. One more time, coming down, breathing in. Good, take that right foot back to the ground. Anchor it down, feel that glutes fire up. Left leg to sky, belly firm, lower the leg, breathe in. Lift. Again, use your arms, use that right heel, use that right glute, use your core. One more time. Good, bend the knee, foot to ground, soften the ribs, round and roll to the floor. Beautiful. Take a moment to draw the knees into chest, give yourself a hug, and gently rock side to side. We're gonna do that set again, yeah? We're gonna do it a little bit differently now with this one as well. So, come back into stillness. Release your feet back to the ground, knees and feet hip width, arms to the side. Again, having the palms face in, so the side of your arm has a bit more power than when your palm is facing the floor. So feet small back, arms press down, breathe in, exhale, peel up and find a lift. Now, once the hips have come up, squeeze both sets of glutes, lift your right leg up, point toes. This time, dig that left heel to floor and then pulse your hips to the sky. Good. Keep on breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rebend the right knee, foot to ground. We redistribute the weight equally back into both sets of legs here, both sides of your legs here. Then let the left leg extend to sky, pointed toes. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Right heel, dig it down, breathe it big. 10, 9, 8, good. 7, almost there. 6, yes. 5, arms strong. 4, belly in. 3, almost there. Yeah, 2, good. 1, and then rebend the left knee, foot to the floor. Soften the ribs, round and roll down. Beautiful, knees to chest. Rock gently side to side. Whew. Just checking the time here, see where we're at. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and start rocking now forward and back, up and down the spine until we've come up to seated. So we haven't done this one in a while. We are going to do rolling like a ball. So it's a spinal massage and it's a core exercise. Seems like it could be easy. It's actually fairly challenging if we really focus on doing it properly. So what I'd like you to do is rock back to balance point so that your feet come off the ground and on your between your tailbone and your lower back. Hands to your knees. It helps to sweep the elbows out. It sort of prevents the shoulders from straightening up. When our arms are close, this is more predominant, right? This happens a lot more easily than if the elbows come out to the sides. It should naturally drop your shoulder blades down. And then I want you to look down towards your lower belly. Never, never, never stop looking at that space because it keeps the curve of your spine. If we start to look up, our spine flattens, and that's not going to give us the shape we need to move the body. Now, I also want us to not rely on momentum. So when you inhale, you're going to gently and slowly fall back to about tips of shoulder blades. It should be really tricky to come up. If it's really easy, that's an indicator that you swung back too quickly or try to toss your body forward too much. Yeah. So very, very subtle energy with a rock. Fall back. Really use all that core strength in your breath power to come back up. Let's do 4 more of these. Good, watch those shoulders. 2 more times. Don't look up at that ceiling. Keep your eyes fixated to your lower belly. 1 last time. Gentle fall back. Pulling back up. Returning your feet to the floor, sitting up nice and tall. Soles of feet come together. Let's hold the ankles. Hinge from the hips. You're going to feel your sits bones start to lift a bit off the ground. When you feel them lift, instead of trying to press them back in, which actually pulls you away from your feet, I want you to feel those sits bones try to reach now behind you. And then I want you to round slowly your back. Let the head be the last thing that comes down. Breathe into your outer hips, your lower back, and your inner thighs. Let's do 1 more breath in here. And I want you to roll slowly back up to seated as you exhale. Good. Once we come up to seated, I'm going to transition us into a tabletop position. So I'm just going to take a brief moment to face forward so that you can better see the movement, but you can stay as you were. Fingers are spread out wide. Even gripping the ground just a little bit with your fingertips really helps wrist support, which is important here. Our wrists are fairly fragile compared to other parts of our body, and a lot of our weight is being placed on them. So if we have a bit more muscle engagement, even in the hands and the forearms, that helps to support and protect the joints. So here we are. Make sure also we're lifting out of the arms. We're not just kind of collapsing and relaxing into them. We have to have energy within our pectorals, our shoulders, our lats, our upper back. Then the lower belly pulls in and up. Instead of letting the head hang, which shortens our length, look slightly forward. Take a breath in. On your exhale, slowly take the right arm in front of you while the left leg stretches behind you. Flex the foot, make sure the pinky toe is pointing down and that your body weight had pulled forward. Good. Take another inhale. Slow extension out to the sides on the exhale. Keep sending the heart towards the front of your workspace. And then come back through on an inhale. So on the exhale, when I'm extending out to the side, I do not want to overextend my right arm. It's only going to come out 90 degrees. Come back through center on an inhale. Notice my left leg isn't coming out as far. That is okay. It's much more challenging for the leg to move than the arm itself. Let's come back through to one more here. Keep equal weight in your left arm and your right leg that are grounded. Come back through center. Return to tabletop. Right, so it's very important that we keep our center body still, that it doesn't turn to follow the movement. Again, if we overextend that one arm, that's when the body starts to pull because it's gone too far. So again, only out to 90 at best. Yeah. All right, let's do the other side. Take an inhale, prepare yourself, grip, lift out, pull belly in. Exhale, left arm slowly forward, right leg slowly back. Flex the foot immediately. Point the pinky toes down in equal weight in left arm, right leg, and heart forward. Take a breath in. Or right arm and left leg, I apologize. Exhale, open the arm and leg out to their sides. Back to center. This is strengthening, of course, our core, but particularly the obliques, the hip, of course, some shoulder work here and arm work. 2 more times. Good, come back through center. Don't let that weight in your body shift at all. Open out and stretch forward. Come back through center and then release. Sit back to the heels. Lift your elbows up, or take your elbows to the ground, lift your hands off the floor and roll out your wrists. Wrong body part. Good, let the hands become heavy and just shake them out. Good. Come forward briefly to tabletop again. Take the right arm, sweep it out and up on a breath in. Thread the arm through and reach across actively as you rest down onto the arm. Cheek or ear to the floor, stretching the back side of the shoulder. For next inhale, push off your left hand, unravel, unwind, sweep the arm back up to sky, and then exhale, return the hand back to the floor. Let's do the other side. Inhaling, left arm sweeping out and up. Exhaling, the arm threading through, reaching actively across, rest on the arm. Then breathe into the back side of the shoulder and a bit into your upper back here. Good, breath in now. Plant that right hand down, unravel, lift the left arm back up, and exhale, returning back to tabletop position. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna go ahead and I want us to do some push-ups. I want us to continue to strengthen our upper body. We're gonna do it in the form of a modified. Now I know some of you may be able to do a hands and feet push-up, totally fine. I want us to get a little bit more depth with our push-up, so doing it modified on the knees allows us to get a bit down a bit deeper while maintaining structure. Sometimes it's more challenging to do it on the hands and feet, of course, so that may mean, of course, the movement is shallowed. And if we try to go down too deep, we sometimes wind up compromising other parts of our body. So staying on the knees really helps us to focus to keep the entire body engaged and really work on that a little bit more of a range of motion. So what I'd like us to do from tabletop is take a step forward with the hands, spread the fingers out, and then draw the hips forward. Okay, so that you're in an even, nice diagonal from your kneecaps all the way up through your fingertips here, the crown of your head. Boy, my anatomy is awful today, I apologize. So some options though with this, keeping the tops of feet grounded to the floor, actually, obviously it provides a little bit more surface area and support, so it might feel a little bit easier. If you're wanting a little bit more heat to the modified push-up, lifting your feet off the ground just lessens, of course, the support and requires more muscle strength. For our first set of push-ups, I want us to slightly inwardly rotate the hands so the fingers kind of angle inward, the elbows then will point out. Make sure that when you're in your modified plank, sometimes you have to adjust the positioning of your knees. You might have to scooch forward or back so that when you're lengthening out, your heart lands right between your hands. On a breath in, bend those elbows out wide, start to lower the heart downward towards the floor, and then push away from the ground. Use the heels of your hands, really dig into it. Again, breath in, coming down with a firm belly, push it away, exhale. Let's do 4 more of these, shall we? Coming down, grip the ground with your hands, dig into the heels of your hands, push away. 3 more, breath in, look slightly forward, don't let your head come down. Exhale, drive out. Let's do 2 more. 1 last time, guys, okay? 1 more push up here, and then press it away. Feet to the floor if they were lifted, and just a gentle child's pose. We're gonna go through 2 more sets of push-ups. So each one of our sets is going to really kind of focus on different areas of our upper body. The first one we just did was kind of like a generalized common push-up. So it worked a lot into everything: biceps, forearm, triceps, shoulders, upper back, chest, abs. Our next push-up, we're going to be focused a lot more on the triceps themselves, right? The back of the arms. So with that being said, that's one of the smaller muscles within the arms, right? So our range of motion now with our push-ups will more than likely be smaller. So do not feel like you have to have the same amount of depth. In fact, having less depth will allow for better control. And we have to be very mindful of the positioning with our elbows with this one. So let's come forward back into modified plank. I want the hands now to run parallel to each other. And then I want you to actively take the elbows, which sometimes will still kind of roll open to the sides. I want you to roll your elbow heads to the back of your workspace without your hands shifting. Okay, and then from there, your arms are going to be really tight into your sides as you come down, word. A little bit more shallow now and drive out. So never, never, never let your elbows point to the sides now. Point them straight back towards your heels when you're coming down and then drive up. That's what's going to get your tricep muscles really activated. We're going to do 4 more here. 4. Good. 3 more. Keep looking forward. Gotta drive it up. 2 more times. Don't let your hips start sagging to the ground, right? Your whole body is lowering and lifting as one solid piece, right? 1 unit. Once more, coming down. Ooh, driving up. Child's pose. That was a deep one. Okay. So we're gonna do 1 more, which is going to be focused mainly on the pectorals, the chest. So sometimes these can be a hard muscle to activate and strengthen. It's kind of like our core a bit in the way that the chest muscles don't necessarily always activate naturally with doing movement. We have to really be mentally focused and visualize those muscles firming up to help us to engage them. Yeah. So with this modified plank, we're going to have our hands in a diamond shape. Having the hands close in pulls everything to the pecs. So let's go ahead and pointers and thumbs connect. Elbows are coming back up to the sides again. So this depth of your push-up may be a little bit shallow as well for this one. Coming down on an inhale, push away, exhale. I have to slide my knees forward a bit because I was too far back. I could feel it in my shoulders. Coming down, dig into the chest and drive out. Okay, 4 more. 3 more. Good, 2 more. Don't let that breath be soft and quiet. Let it be strong. 1 more time. Good. Let's go ahead and sit back again to a child's pose. Let's roll up to a seated position for a moment. And if sitting on your heels is really uncomfortable, you can go ahead and come to a seated position straight on the ground. We're going to be here briefly just to stretch the chest and fronts of shoulders. So on a breath in, I want you to sweep your arms behind you, interlace the fingers. Make sure the heels of your hands press together and stay pressed. Stretch your knuckles to the ground. Breathe in, arch your back, lift your heart to sky, gaze slightly up. And then on your exhale, like your belly were a wheel, you're going to roll the wheel down your thighs. Feel the hands begin to lift towards the sky, and perhaps your forehead can rest to the floor. If the heels of hands have separated, it actually releases the stretch a bit. So you may have to have just a bit of a bend in your elbows to keep the hands connected. Some options here in this space, if you want a bit more intensity. If you lift your sits bones off your heels and stack your hips above your knees, tuck your chin to your chest and let the top of your head roll to the ground. It can allow the arms to kind of rinse overhead a bit more, which can bring a little bit more sensation to the chest and fronts of shoulders. Take deep breaths into that space. Long exhale. Let's do it once more, breath in. And then on the exhale, start to sit back to your heels if you've lifted out of that, forehead to the ground. Bring your hands down to your lower back and then roll up safely to a seated position. Once you have, release hands, take the arms beside you. Beautiful. All right, our upper body has been strengthened. Now I want us to work on the lower half, mainly the outer hips and a bit of the inner thighs. So let's get into some side body work. We'll begin lying on our right side to begin. So making sure you're in a straight line of energy, you're stacked up nice. You can prop your head up with your right hand for extra balance and support. If that feels like it's tension here in the neck and shoulders, resting down is quite okay. Let's take left hand to hip, elbow to sky. That elbow is very important. Remember, keeping it always pointed straight upward. And if you notice it had shifted, or I'll ask you if it had shifted, right, to just readjust that. That's just an indicator that maybe your hip or your shoulder had fallen back, which throws your body off stack, right? You want to keep nice aligned. Flex both of your feet. Your right leg is anchored down. Your top leg slightly lifted, slightly inwardly rotated. And then look straight ahead. Exhaling, lifting that leg up a bit higher, pushing through the heel of your foot. Hover the leg when you breathe in. Again. Good, and hover. We're doing 4 more. Throughout this, move slow and really feel that hip muscle doing all the work, right? If we start to rely on momentum, then muscles don't really get a chance to strengthen. Again, lift, keep that inward rotation. Hover on a breath in. We've got 2 more left to go. Fine lift. Good, and hover. Once more here, lift the leg up. Now only take it down halfway. When you breathe in, much more core here, bend your knee, pull the knee closer towards your chest. Watch that elbow, and then drive out. This one's really tricky. Use that bottom leg. Really helps here with support. Pull the knee in and try to keep that knee level with hip throughout, and then press it out. Good. Check back in with elbow, adjust if you need to. We're only going to do, well, let's do 4 more of these. I was going to say only 2 more, but no. Push it out. Drive through the heel of your foot. 3 more. 2 more times. 1 last one, pulling in. Driving out, holding there. Now what we're going to do, actually, you know what? Go ahead and let that leg rest for a moment. So what we're going to do here is combine those 2 exercises we just did. The lifting and lowering of the leg and the pulling in of the knee and driving out of the leg to lengthen it out. Our range of motion is going to be smaller because the pace is going to be quicker. So if you're trying to keep the same range of motion, it's more than likely going to throw your body off balance way more than if you keep the movement smaller, more controlled, so that we can keep up the speed. All right, so I'm gonna do 2 slow and then we'll pick up to pace. So it's gonna look like this. You're going to lift the leg, lower it, draw the knee in, drive out. So think of it in 4 steps. Lift, lower, in, out. So in pace, it will be lift, lower, knee in, drive out, isolate, lift. So keep that core tight. In, press out. Again, up, down, in, out, lift, good, knee in. 2 more times, lift. Good, nothing else in the body moves, right? Statue, 1 more, lift, lower, knee in, drive out, take the leg down. Bend the knee to the floor in front and really tap that hip out. Right, so it's not always about how big you can make a movement, right? Sometimes it's about how you can make the movement and maintain the stability within your body. All right, so before we move on to our left side, I want us to roll onto our back to strengthen up those inner thigh muscles. This will also work a lot into the core, particularly your lower abdominal region. So let's take the legs, lift them to the sky from here. Arms can be beside or out to T for extra support. Drop your tailbone down, point your toes, and externally rotate the legs. So you're going to open to a V, breathing in, small V. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Exhale, squeezing your thighs towards each other. Straighten the legs more. Reach your toes high to sky. Open the legs, small V, breathe in. Left ankle over right. Squeeze, lengthen, lift. Open legs, breath in. Cross right over left. Open, breathe in. Left over right. 1 more each side. Open, inhale. Cross and squeeze. Once more. Open, breathe in. Left ankle over right, cross, squeeze. Now from here, all we're gonna do is just crisscross the ankles. So again, the reason the toes are firmly pointed is to keep the legs long, strong, and stiff. If the feet give way, then our legs become really noodly. We wanna really avoid that so the muscles actually have to work. And all we're gonna do is gonna start to pick up the pace. Good, breathe steadily through these. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, almost there, good. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rest, knees in. Give yourself a hug and rock, 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 let it go. Yeah, so the more you think about really reaching upward, 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 it gets all the muscles in the legs. It gets your feet muscles activated, your calves, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, right? Everything's involved to make sure there is control. All right, let's rock up to seated or however it's easiest for you so that you can transition onto your left side. Okay, straight line again, right? Stacked hips, flexed feet, hand to hip, elbow to sky, bottom leg anchored, top leg hovered, internal rotation, line the neck up. Here we go again. Right leg coming up on the exhale. Returning down with resistance on an inhale. Good, back to hover. Let's do 4 more. 4, and hover. 3 more. Good, hovering. 2 more times, spine lift. Take it down slow. 1 more time, pulling up, and then taking the leg halfway down this time. So remember, a lot of ab strength needed here. On an inhale, pull the knee in slow. And then drive back out. Also feel the entire left side of your body push into the ground. Inhale, dig down to draw the knee in. Really helps support you. Drive out. Let's do 4 more. 4. Good, press. Check that elbow. 3 more. When the leg pulls in, the foot also has to pull out in front, not behind you. Yeah, drive it away. Twice more, in. Good, and press. Last one here, draw knee in. Drive out. Now, too slow, just for a refresh. We're going to lift, we're going to lower, we're going to pull the knee in, and we're going to press it out, right? That combo move. Again, lift, lower, knee in. So here's up to speed, smaller range of motion. Lift, lower, knee in, drive out. Good. Up, down, in. Good. Control that elbow. Lift. I know it's tricky. In. Hip burning. Yeah. In. Lift. Good. Knee in, 2 more times. Lift. Knee in. Last time. Good. Lift, lower, knee in, drive out. Leg comes down slow. Whew. Bend that knee to the floor. Tap it all out. Right? Break it all up. Lactic acid, that's what that burning sensation is, right? That building up of. Whew. All right, let's go ahead. Pressed is seated. Let's take just a brief moment to stretch out the hips. So what I'd like to do today for that hip stretch is we'll start with the right hip since we just worked it out. I want you to take your right leg, stack it on top of your left leg. Now, there's totally different levels of stacking. If it's available, ankle over knee. If you're like, no way, ankle over shin. If you're like, still no, ankle over ankle, right? Depending upon our hips. And then holding the fronts of your knees, flexing your feet, pressing into the knees, pull back on them to lift your chest up, and then hinge forward. From there, the hands can come to the floor for a little extra support if you wish. Wowza with the hip, yeah? Let's do a couple more. One more, guys, here. Inhaling. And then walk the hands back into your hips so you sit up nice and tall. Exhaling. Good. Physically grab the leg with both hands, take it down to the floor. It's just a nice, easy way to get there. Same with switching sides. Pick the leg up, the left one, and stack it up. And you may notice one side's different than the other. Maybe one has less mobility or more mobility. And that's just an indication and a reminder that our bodies as humans were imbalanced over time, yeah? Hold the fronts of your knees. Use that to sit upright first, then pull back on the knees so that you can start stretching your heart forward, hinging from hips. Wowza, push out through your heels, protect your knees, and the hands can come to the floor for support. So never let your heart pull away, right? Always continue to imagine it stretching past your legs all the way to the front. Let's do a couple more here. One more time, guys. Inhaling. As you exhale, the hands walk back towards hips as you sit upright. From here, physically picking that left leg up, taking it to the floor, and then just crossing your legs, pulling the heels in a bit closer to your body. Sits bones rooted straight down to the ground, heart up to sky, shoulders back, ribs in, and then arms beside you. Inhaling, let the arms reach out wide, lift up high, touch hands above head. Exhale your hands to heart space. 2 more times. Inhale, sweep down, reach out, lift up, lengthen the side bodies. Pull hands down to heart center, breathing out. 1 more time. Inhale, gather up energy. Hold the energy above you. Bring the energy within you. Hands to heart, press your thumb knuckles to sternum, bring your chin down to your chest, bow to yourself. Always, at the end of practice, please thank yourself. You have come here. You have showed up. You did the work. You gave your body, mind, soul this opportunity. Breath work, movement, stretching, strengthening, but most importantly, connecting to your own self. Wonderful work, guys. Thank you so much for, again, joining in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you all very soon next week for as live as we can get. All right, guys. Enjoy.